levels that are you just don't see at the age of 39 at the end of a great, borderline Hall of Fame career.
And actually, when you look at his season, and especially in this stretch over the last couple of months, you don't see it from virtually any pitchers at all, maybe a handful, much less guys who are 39. And so I will say that first very quickly, because I was saying when you were talking about Georgia, Arkansas, did you notice, I know there was some question going into the game, and even this morning they hadn't said, Georgia hadn't announced who the quarterback was going to be. Is it J.T. Daniel? Because he had been hurt. Did you notice that? If not,
let me
check it out when they have the ball again. But, yeah, and it's interesting. It's funny, not funny, but what you said about the physicality as I'm having this discussion with my wife. So I was making a pretty good case for Wainwright. And so she said, oh, you're going against your favorite sport. And you always tell me that it's all about.
On Waynesburg, the Yellow Jackets, an improved squad. They're celebrating homecoming. They would love to pull off an upset to highlight homecoming. We'll talk about the Yellow Jackets when we come back. But first, here's Joe Onderco with this week's President's Athletic Conference football report on the Andrew DiDonato Show.
Welcome to the PAC Football Report, covering games on October 2nd, 2021. I'm Joe Onderco. This week, we will take a quick look back at Week 4 games in the President's Athletic Conference, while also previewing this Saturday's contest. The race for the 2021 PAC Championship is becoming more clear after 5 league games on September 25th. The game of the week was in New Wilmington, where defending PAC champion Westminster overcame an early 20-0 deficit to edge rival Grove City 32-31 and stay unbeaten in PAC play. W&J improved to 3-0 in league play as they broke a 14-14 tie with 23 unanswered points in a 37-14 win at Case Western Reserve. Geneva posted its second straight league win, rolling to a 42-7 decision at Bethany. Carnegie Mellon won at home against Waynesburg 39-3, while St. Vincent was victorious at Teal 41-7. Earning Offensive Player of the Week honors was W&J junior running back Joey Caroli, who posted 167 yards from scrimmage and 3 TDs at Case. Defensive laurels went to Carnegie Mellon sophomore linebacker Logan Young, with 5 tackles, a sack, a fumble recovery, and a 47-yard interception return for a touchdown versus Waynesburg. W&J kicker Sean Disbrow garnered special teams recognition with a 34-yard field goal and 4 for 4 on extra points at Case. St. Vincent freshman linebacker Jonas Polanese was named Newcomer of the Week after recording 12 tackles, including 1.5 for losses at Teal. 5 more PAC games are on tap this Saturday, including some homecoming affairs. One of those takes place in Beaver Falls, where 2-2 Geneva hosts 4-0 Washington and Jefferson at Reeves Stadium at 3 p.m. The Presidents have dominated the all-time series, including posting a 20-6 win in Washington in the 2021 spring season. Veteran Geneva head coach Gino DeMarco talks about the keys for the GT's success in their past 2 wins heading into the W&J game.
2 weeks in a row, we scored a defensive touchdown. That helps. It's just been, our players, our coaches are starting to gel, starting to believe in what we're doing. And all of that said, we have a huge, huge challenge in front of us.
Coming off an impressive road win, 2-1 St. Vincent returns to Chuck Knoll Field in Latrobe to face 2-2 Case Western Reserve for homecoming at 1 p.m. The Spartans have won 6 of the 7 all-time meetings, including the last 5 matchups, with the lone Bearcat win in the series being a 23-20 final in 2014. Third-year Bearcat head coach Aaron Smetanka hopes that the growth and development he has seen in his program will continue against Case this weekend.
We have, I think in the 3 games we've played so far, players have been really seeing a good improvement. I mean, in all 3 phases, on offensive, defensive, and special teams. Seen a lot of young guys, too, doing very well for us and seeing that progress through each of the weeks of the season so far. We're really excited now seeing for this 4th week coming up for our homecoming game.
Another homecoming takes place in Greenville, where 0-4 Teal hosts 2-1 Westminster at Alumni Stadium at 3 p.m. It's the 78th all-time matchup in the series dating back to 1894. The Titans have won the last 4 meetings, with Teal's last win over Westminster being a 45-37 4-overtime PAC Classic in 2013. Tomcat head coach Mike Winslow talks about the keys to holding his young team together through the program's inevitable growing pains.
And so lots of encouragement, staying positive, really trusting the process. I know it's a popular, phrase you hear, and we do have to get better. We have to build on and get improve offensively on some things here this week, regardless of our opponent.
In other games, 3-1 Grove City travels to 1-3 Waynesburg for a 1 p.m. kickoff at Wiley Stadium. The Wolverines have won the last 3 games against the Yellow Jackets, including a 42-24 final in the last meeting in 2019. Finally, 2-2 Carnegie Mellon travels to 0-4 Bethany for a 1 p.m. start at Bison Stadium. It's the 45th all-time meeting, with CMU leading the series 36-8. However, the Bison recorded a 23-19 win over the Tartans in their last trip to Bethany 2 years ago. That's all for this edition of the PAC Football Report. Please log on to the conference website at www.pacathletics.org anytime for the latest news, scores, statistics, and other info. You can follow us on social media via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links are available at the PAC website. I'm Joe Onderco. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the stadium.
Welcome back to the Andrew DiDonato Show here on the Wolverine Sports Network. Ryan Briggs here with Grove City College head football coach Andrew DiDonato. Grove City and Waynesburg coming up at the top of the hour from Greene County, Pennsylvania. Coach, Waynesburg coming in this year. The Yellow Jackets really struggled in the spring, and a lot of people thought, well, Waynesburg might be a long year, but this team has come a long way in a short amount of time. Huge win over Teal a couple of weeks ago at home. A pretty representative performance against Case Western also.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at both of those games, they got some playmakers and on offense, and certainly in that win they had, and then the game against Case, they got some recognition. Their running back, Justin Flack, we all know about him. He got recognized with the conference awards in the spring. And then their wide receiver, Dakota, and then their quarterback, Tyler Raines, both of them have been recognized by the conference already this year as top performers, whether it be offense or rookie of the week. So those guys have been recognized for a reason. They're making plays. They're doing a lot of great things. So starting with their offense, it's been allowed them to put a lot of points on the board. They put up over 50 on Teal, and they put up over 30 on a good Case Western team. So we know that they have some explosiveness there, and that's really what set the tone for them to start to get things on track.
And offensively, it sounds a lot like it's almost maybe looking in the mirror in terms of what they are doing, X and O wise, personnel wise.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some things we do formationally and personnel wise, especially how we utilize our H-backs that really no one else had done prior. And, it was really unique what we were doing. And you see a lot of that now with Waynesburg, that they do a lot of things where they're using multiple H-backs and moving them around and putting them in different scenarios. So there is. That's a great point to be made. There's a lot of similarities with what they are doing offensively, and really how they're finding success with their running back, with their top receiver is in a lot of ways how we started to get things going and finding success with having a top receiver, running back, etc. So a lot of similarities with what we do and what they are doing now offensively.
Any edge for the Wolverine defense, because you see it every day?
There could be. I mean, I think just knowing running a very similar formation, that there is similarities there. However, their run game is very different from what we do in the run game. So how they utilize those different H-backs is a lot different, and how they utilize their lines. So I think formationally it does help, but because the schematics and the run game is so different that it is preparing for an opponent as if it's brand new, but just because of the run scheme is so different.
Of course, Justin Flack, as Coach mentioned, 5'7", 190, junior from Derry. Tyler Raines, the quarterback, 6'3", 190, a junior, nice size back there. Is he a pocket guy? Is he a runner, or is he a mix?
He's athletic. He can move around. He really can. But really just impressed with just how he's been able to throw the ball and push the ball down the field. I mean, they put up a lot of yards, and a lot of those have been explosive plays, throwing vertical down the field. They do double moves. And he's just been very accurate. And again, very similar to what you've seen from us, being able to push the ball down the field and do it accurately, and have guys who can get behind defenders. And that's what they've been able to do. And he has a strong arm and is able to sit in that pocket and make all the throws needed within their system.
Dakota Romantino, the freshman receiver, originally started out at California of PA. He's out of Charleroi, 266 receiving yards against Case Western. He really put himself on the radar with that. Is he? I guess is he? Who would you compare Romantino to in terms of other receivers in the league, if you can? If that's a fair question,
I would put him more. We have bigger receivers. So does Case Western. Colt Morgan for them is more of a bigger receiver that gets a lot of attention. W&J a lot of times has more guys who are just really fast. They're not slot receivers, but they think of it in our system, they'd be more of slot receivers, and that's really what he is. He's just really fast and quick, gets in and out of breaks and explosive. He had a big double move touchdown against Case where he sold that and then had a burst just to get over top. So I'd say just more of a shifty, speedy receiver that is able to get behind defenders and able to create separation with that quickness.
Turning our attention to the Waynesburg defense, they list a 3-3-5. Are they kind of running a 3-3 stack, or is that maybe not exactly what we'll see Saturday?
They're multiple. Their defensive coordinator does a great job. Has been there a long time, and that is their base, the 3-3 stack, and we've seen that from them in the past. But we've also seen them shift into an even front in the past, and this year they've shown the ability to be willing to go to that as well. So makes it very challenging preparing for them because there's been years where they've been heavy in stack, and we see them in an even or vice versa. So that is their personnel. They do base out of the stack, but we are preparing for anything just because they do have the ability because they are multiple. To shift into any type of front week to week. So, our guys have to be prepared for whatever they might throw at us.
Quite a bit of youth on this defense. 4 freshman starters, including 3 of the 5 defensive backs. The nickelback, Javion Smith from nearby Sharon High School is a freshman. Strong safety, Brennan Boron, a freshman. And then one of the corners, Brandon Tyson, a freshman. Looking at their front 6, if you will, especially the front 3, there's not a lot of bulk there. Are they more? Is it more of a speed type defense?
It is. They they're able. They'll get wide, rush the passer effectively. They're just quick, and that's what makes them. What gives them an edge for what they do. What they might lack in size, they do have in speed, and they're quick off the ball. They're able to shoot gaps and do different things that just present a different type of challenge from. Even just last week or in the past, you see some noses that are bigger, and their job is to just take on 2 defenders. Well, you get a smaller D lineman, and he's more going to try to shoot the gap and beat you with speed. So I'd say what you see with Waynesburg on film is they know their strengths and they play to it. They're not going to ask some of those guys to play, play defensive line in a way that would not fit them. So they utilize their strengths to the fullest, and that's part of having a veteran defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and certainly you think about the defenses that Grove City's played the last couple of weeks with Carnegie Mellon coming out really in a 6-man front, and then Westminster, a lot of different looks, and now a totally different look from Waynesburg, and multiple looks being expected Saturday. Coach, what are a couple of keys? Obviously, going on the road in conference play is never easy. Waynesburg, it's homecoming. There'll be a lot of additional enthusiasm there, and this is a team that is getting better, and certainly is. They're thinking, hey, Grove City coming off a tough one last week, we can get them. This is certainly going to be a very excited and confident team that the Wolverines are playing.
Yeah, I think number one offensively is get back to dominating the line of scrimmage and running the football. That's been the staple of our program. We've done that well this year. And I think just getting back to just consistently dominating the line of scrimmage, that's what we want to do. I think that is the key for us this week. Defensively, eliminate the explosive play. You talked about the 266 yards their one receiver had versus Case. Waynesburg does have the ability to have explosive plays at any moment. That's why they put up so many points on Teal, and we're right there with Case Western at halftime. So you got to eliminate the explosive play. Do not let them have. They're going to try the double moves, go vertical. Got to limit that. And in special teams, get back to playing special teams how we have during our win streaks. And that's playing smart special teams, putting the ball through the uprights, consistent coverage lanes, all the things that have really contributed to us getting to where we're at now as a program. So dominate the line of scrimmage up front offensively, eliminate the explosive play defensively, just sound special teams, and we're going to get back to where we want to be.
Coach, always a pleasure. Best of luck. We'll talk to you next week as we get ready for our homecoming.
Sounds good. Thanks, Briggsy.
That's Grove City College head football coach Andrew DiDonato. You've been listening to the Andrew DiDonato Show on the Wolverine Sports Network. Kickoff is next on the home of the Wolverines.
Guys, like having a place to live, eating food, wearing clothes, sending 639 texts a week on a shiny new phone? There's one thing that can help you get the money to do all of those things. It's called a job. If you're a guy turning 18, there's one important thing you need to do to make sure the job market is wide open for you. Register with the Selective Service System at sss.gov. Failing to register with Selective Service would mean you'd not only be breaking the law, you'd also be unable to apply for federal jobs, many state and municipal jobs, and all kinds of job training programs the government offers. So guys, take a minute and register with the Selective Service. You'll keep your job prospects open. Otherwise, how are you going to get the basketball shoes with full-length responsive cushioning and an outsole cutout for low-profile impact protection? Take that minute, go to sss.gov and register with Selective Service, and keep all your options open. Remember, it's quick, it's easy, it's the law.
What is that?
Oh, it's my time machine.
Does it work?
Sure, just hit this button.
Whoa, dinosaurs, cool.
Or we can go here.
Hey, that's Napoleon.
Oui.
Or we can go to the future.
Wow, hey, you have this nice house. Do I have a nice house?
No, you didn't save any money, always spent it on vacations and stuff.
If only there was a way I could go back in time and correct that bad habit.
Yep.
Okay, the time machine is not real, but the saving thing is. Get in the habit of putting some of your money in savings each week through a 401k, savings account, or financial investments. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy tips on saving, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
What does this crazy little button do?
Wait, no!
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
I love being a part of the Action Team. It helps me help other people. It helps me feel good.
Being a part of the team always feels good. Go for it. Don't even hesitate.
For more than a decade, Major League Baseball players and action teams of high school students have been working together to train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
Once you get there and realize how much you can change someone's life, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Just that simple act that takes 5 or 10 minutes of your time is making a difference and is transforming someone else's life.
All-stars Giancarlo Stanton and Chris Capuano join Action Team captains to make a difference in their communities. And you can too.
Just try it. Just go to one event, one Action Team event.
If we all show up together, that's what it's all about. It's not just one person, it's a group, it's a team.
It's been incredibly rewarding for me. It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
For more information, go to actionteam.org.
This afternoon, Grove City College and the Wolverine Sports Network present Grove City College football from Wiley Stadium in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. Mark Means, Ryan Briggs, as we bring you Grove City College football this afternoon. The Wolverines on the road to take on the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets in President's Athletic Conference play. Grove City coming in 3-1 and 2-1 in conference play. And Ryan, the Yellow Jackets are 1-3 and 1-2 overall in the conference.
Yeah, Waynesburg coming in, a team that is a young team. They've kind of been searching for an identity. They think they have found it offensively. Certainly some very talented players, as we heard Coach DiDonato mention. Justin Flack, standout running back. He was an all-PAC performer back in the spring. And then you look at the receiver, the freshman Dakota Romantino, who is playing with a cast on one of his hands today. He has a wrist that's injured. But this is a Waynesburg team that has been getting better and better every week. Important today for Grove City. Get off to a fast start. Get Waynesburg on the ropes because Grove City is the favorite coming in today. I don't think anybody would argue that point. But this is a team that it has gotten better. Played Case Western tough, big win over Teal. Looking to bounce back from a tough one last Saturday night at Carnegie Mellon. Should be a fun one. Hoping to see the Wolverines bounce back from a tough one on the road also last Saturday. But beautiful day here. Perfect homecoming weather at Waynesburg University. Temperature in the mid-70s. Light wind, and looking forward to this one, Mark.
Looking at the recent series between these two schools, Grove City has won the last 3 matchups in this series, including a 42-24 win back in 2019, and Grove City looks to win their 4th straight all-time in this matchup between Grove City and Waynesburg.
Yeah, a series that dates back, 100 years or so, and Grove City has never beaten Waynesburg 4 times in a row, so looking to set a little bit of history here. Not the top headline in terms of should Grove City do it, but coming here and last time down here 2 years ago, the Grove City running game ran wild. West Schools 324 yards, which set a single-game regular season record for Grove City. And again, the Wolverines want to get that run game going today with Nico Flatty, Clayton Parrish, Zach Trusky. Get those guys going. Get that ground game back to where we saw it in the first 2 games. Grove City, that offensive line has a decided size edge today against Waynesburg's front 3. Waynesburg a little bit light up front. They will look to do a lot of stunting, twists up front, blitzing, trying to keep Grove City off balance. And the Wolverines, the game plan is simple. Establish the run and then set up the deep ball to those big receivers on the outside.
It seems like the running game in general is a big point of conversation for us here this afternoon, running the football successfully and then continuing what has been a dominant run defense through the first 4 games for the Wolverines, ranked 11th in the country in Division III against the rush, only giving up about 1.9 yards per carry or under 50 yards rushing per game. And that is where the defense has really keyed, slowing down the opposition's run game so far this year.
Well, certainly, no doubt about it. Holding Bethany, holding Carnegie Mellon to negative yardage. This rush defense has been very stout. Starts with the guys up front. R.J. Debo, James Parenti, Bryce Spolnick, and then the next 3 guys in. Kobe Bonanno at nose tackle, flanked by Ethan Ward and Scott Hastings, the 2 seniors. Those 6 guys up front have been a real handful for opposing offensive lines. And then when you have a linebacking core like Grove City has, which I think may be the best linebacking core in the President's Athletic Conference, and there are some great ones. We saw a great group of linebackers at Westminster last week. W&J does, but this is the guys that Grove City runs out there stack up very, very well with them. The run defense has been outstanding. And Waynesburg, with a rather young offense, they want to establish the run. Their game plan is going to be pretty similar to Grove City's. Get the run game going, use that to set up passing, and with quarterback Tyler Raines looking at to primarily get it into the hands of Dakota Romantino, the standout redshirt freshman receiver from Charleroi.
They also, when they run the football, they go to one of the top running backs in the conference in Justin Flack, the senior, 394 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. That puts him at number 2 in the conference in total rushing yards as we amazingly get to the halfway point today.
Yeah, halfway. Hard to believe it. And with Flack, he is a good, solid, all-around running back. There's not one area you would say he is exceptional in, but he is strong in all areas. Has strength. He has some quickness. He's a tough runner. He can move. He can catch. He is you hear the term often, a 3-down back. That's what Flack is, and he's going to be a focal point of the Grove City defense. Don't let Flack get going, because if he does, that's going to really pay some dividends for the Waynesburg University offense.
We're talking a little bit about last week's tough loss at Westminster, 33-32. The question, I'm sure, on a lot of people's minds is, how do the Wolverines bounce back from a difficult loss last week on the road? Well, it starts with the coaching staff and the senior leadership on this football team.
It certainly does. And these guys, as we look historically, last few years, Grove City, anytime there's been some adversity, whether it's injuries or a defeat or of course, last year with in the spring with all the various COVID stuff, this team is very, very resilient. This team, that's as much of a key, I think, intangible of this team as anything. The ability to bounce back, the ability to handle adversity, and I expect this team to come out ready to go, full of fist and fire, and ready to have a quality 60 minutes today against an improving Waynesburg team. Mark, we'll take our final break. We'll come back with the kickoff.
We'll do that right after we take this break here on the Wolverine Sports Network.
I'm Sally, a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs. Excuse me, hi. What do you think this place needs?
I'd like to see more parking.
More playgrounds.
Free movies.
Oh, that's easy. Better restaurants.
And you, what do you think this place needs?
This place? Oh, more ice cream trucks.
Okay. How about you?
Wi-Fi everywhere?
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
Oh, that's way better.
Now that you mention it.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org. Because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
This is the news. This morning, we are saluting the 2.2 million women who have joined in the war effort. They now make up 37% of the workforce, changing their role forever.
The prestigious Harvard Medical School is breaking ground today, opening its doors to new female applicants.
Today, little girls all over the world look to the sky, where the first woman is now in space.
Military stereotypes are challenged today with the trailblazing promotion of a U.S. female officer to 4-star general. It was just announced that the vast majority of last year's doctorate degrees were earned by women.
We've come so far, but our news is changing for the worse. More women die from heart disease and stroke than men, even though it can be prevented. Make a change at GoRedForWomen.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Pre-game show continues here from Waynesburg. We're just about 5 minutes away from kickoff on the Wolverine Sports Network. And while we have an opportunity, let's have Mr. Briggs go over today's starting lineups.
Thank you, Mark. Today's starters brought to you by athletics.gcc.edu. Check out all 23 Grove City College sports teams at athletics.gcc.edu. First, Grove City, the offense led by quarterback Josh East. He's a senior. 6'1", 195. The running back, Nico Flatty, 5'10", 185, a freshman. We'll also see Clayton Parrish, the 220-pound junior at running back. Fullback, Robert Tamburino, 5'11", 225, a sophomore. We'll see Mason Muir at fullback, also the 250-pound junior from Indiana County. The receivers, Cody Gustafson, 6'3", 190, a senior. Scott Frazier, 6'4", 195, a sophomore. And Ryan Heckathorn, 6'3", 200, a sophomore. The offensive line, left to right, the left tackle, Jared Kraut, 6'8", 300, the senior. Nate Brady, a sophomore at left guard, 6 feet 305. The center, Brady Brungard, 5'11", 310. He's a freshman. Junior Vinny LaPrey at right guard, 5'11", 285. And the right tackle, Dylan Lane, 6'1", 285. He is a freshman. The Waynesburg defense, it is a 3-3-5 alignment. The ends are Samuel Hamilton, 5'7", 220. He's a freshman. And Tyler Metzger, 5'7", 205, a junior. The nose tackle, Lucas Donnelly, 6'3", 255. Donnelly is a junior. The linebackers, Tom Hannock, 195-pound junior on the strong side. The middle linebacker, Brett Hicks, 215, a senior from Char Valley. And the weak side linebacker is Jonathan Ruffing, 6'2", 200. Ruffing is a junior. The corners, Monroe Moeller, 5'10", 180, a sophomore, and Brandon Tyson, 6 feet, 190. He's a freshman. The safeties are Brennan Boron, 5'11", 185. He's a freshman. Luke Mengus, he's 5'11", 195, a senior. And the fifth DB, Javion Smith, 6 feet, 180. He's a freshman from Sharon. The Waynesburg offense, led by quarterback Tyler Raines, 6'3", 190. Raines is a junior. He's from Columbia, Maryland. The running back is Justin Flack. We talked about him last segment, 5'7", 190, a junior from Derry area. The H-back, Michael McVicker, 6 feet, 210, a senior. The receivers, Matt Craig, 6'1", 180. Craig is a senior. Dakota Romantino, no height and weight available, but he's a freshman from Charleroi, and he's the leading receiver this year for Waynesburg. And the tight end is Andrew Ellerick, 6 feet, 190. Ellerick is a sophomore. Left tackle Nick Beaton, 6 feet, 255. The left guard Trey Carl, 5'8", 300. Eric McDowell, the center, 6'1", 275. Frank Cortazzo, the fourth, is the right guard, and Chase Espin is the right tackle, 6'1", 270. And the Grove City defense, which we will see first as the Wolverines have won the toss and elected to defer. The ends are R.J. Debo, 6'2", 250, a senior, and Bryce Spolnick, 6'2", 250, a freshman. James Parenti in the middle, 6 feet, 285, a junior. Linebackers on the outside, Nick Grabiak, 5'10", 190, a senior. Ryan Fleming, 6'1", 210, a junior. On the inside, Parker Kilgore, 5'10", 215, a senior. And Curtis Fryermuth making his second start, 5'10", 215, a junior. Cornerbacks, Brandon Caffrey, 5'9", 170, a senior from Virginia. And Gabe Dunlap on the other side, 6 feet, 170, a sophomore. Strong safety, Patrick Mark, 6'2", 205, a senior. Trevor Beck, 5'11", 170. He is the free safety, a sophomore from State College. We will see Grove City kicking off to begin today's game, and to tell you all about it is the voice of Wolverine football, now in season number 10, my longtime partner and good friend, Mark Means.
Thank you very much, Ryan. We are getting ready to get things underway here this afternoon. Our officiating crew is led by referee Tom Zetz, and we are moments away from kicking this one off. Grove City will kick. Waynesburg will go right to left to begin things here on a beautiful early fall afternoon here in Waynesburg. So Bianco will handle the kickoff duties with twin returners back deep inside their own 10-yard line for Waynesburg. Glad you could join us on a nice, little warmer than I expected, October 2nd for the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, it's a little bit warmer here down in Greene County, almost into West Virginia, than it is back home. I would say 8 to 10 degrees warmer, but a beautiful day. Warm enough to get a sweat, but not oppressively hot.
Enough to get a sweat when we make the trip up to the top to the press box.
These are high bleachers here at Wiley Stadium. Bleachers only on one side. Of course, they have the train tracks behind the far sideline, and Waynesburg now occupies that side. For years, the visiting team would be over there. It was always fun for coaches and players to try and communicate when the train was going by, would hit the horn at 6 miles an hour to be like, honk, honk. But now Waynesburg gets to deal with that over there. They used to call it the 12th man. I don't know if they do that anymore, but if the train honks the horn, it's not to Waynesburg University's benefit.
And not anymore with them being on the far sidelines. A little bit of a delay, but we are getting ready to get this one underway. Bianco will approach the football, and we are underway. Going to field the kick at the 14. Far side across the 20, 25 to the 30. Still on his feet across the 30 and out to about the 34-yard line. That's where Waynesburg begins, first down and 10.
Patrick Mark downfield on kick coverage. One of a handful of starters on the kick unit. Trevor Beck out there. Gabe Dunlap on the kick return team. Nick Grabiak. So it's kind of almost about a 50-50 mix between starters and reserves. Waynesburg will have it at the 34 to begin today's game. Moving right to left, as Mark said.
Taylor Raines is the quarterback for the Yellow Jackets. He'll work out of a pistol formation. Justin Flack, the junior tailback, second in the conference in rushing, coming into play today. Fake the handoff. Raines going to pump fake. Now looks back to the other side of the field and goes too tall. with the pass intended downfield. Braden Caffrey in coverage for the Wolverines.
Now they've looked to the near side first on the pump and go for Matt Craig. He was blanketed by Gabe Dunlap, who didn't bite, and then the opposite side, where the throw ended up going, Roman Tino was covered well by Caffrey, and it will be 2nd and 10. So Waynesburg coming out throwing on the first play from scrimmage.
2nd down and 10 from their 34-yard line, just underway here, first quarter. Formation receivers to each side as the quarterback, Taylor Raines, checks with that far sidelines. Running back will now move to his left, does Flack. He'll get it for the first time, trying to bounce it to the short side of the field, and he's going to be stood up after a short gain.
No. Sorry, Mark. The quarterback kept it. He fooled everybody.
Wow.
Including the Wolverine defense, and picks up 16 or 15 to the 49. An excellent fake. Had everybody faked out, but Raines coming out the back door, and he'll get 15 to the 49-yard line.
Now, host of Wolverines, in my eyes, went with the running back, but 1st and 10 to the Wolverine 49-yard line.
It's about as good a play fake or quarterback fake as you'll see.
14-13, opening quarter. Receivers to each side, wings to each side. Raines the quarterback. Wolverines showing some pressure. They'll give it this time to the tailback, and he's across midfield, and down to the Wolverine 49-yard line is Justin Flack on the carry.
That time, Grove City winning at the point of attack. They're running at R.J. Debo and James Parenti. And those are two tough guys to try and move out of there, and Waynesburg did not move them out of there. Flack hit and was able to squirm forward for 2, but it will be 2nd down and 8, just past midfield.
One of the up-tempo offenses we see across the conference.
Yeah, huddles have gone the way of the dodo.
They sure have. Again, double wing. Receivers to each side. Raines the quarterback. Flack is the tailback. Raines to throw it on 2nd down and 8. Comes back the other way and jumping the route and making the interception for the Wolverines. That's Braden Caffrey on the interception.
Brandon Caffrey, of course, started at receiver for 2 years. The old joke is they put guys on defense because they can't catch. We know Brandon Caffrey can catch, made a lot of big catches, made a very nice break on the ball. That throw, Raines, it's a tough throw from the just inside the far hash to the near sideline. Didn't have enough on it. Caffrey comes up with a pick, and now the Wolverines, pretty good field position, taking over at the 41 as the Wolverines begin their first offensive drive with 13:23 to go, first quarter.
Caffrey 2nd on the team in tackles, recording his first interception of the season. This Waynesburg defense, through 4 games, does not have an interception as a team.
Let's hope that continues.
East will work out of the pistol with the tailback Nico Flatty behind him. East to throw it on 1st down. With time long out to the far sidelines, and that pass is going to be caught by Gustafson to the Waynesburg 49-yard line, right at the 1st down marker, and good enough for a 1st down.
Similar type throw to what Raines made on the last Waynesburg play, coming from the near hash to the far sideline. It is a long throw. He says it's a 10-yard gain. How can it be long? Where you're throwing about 35 yards across the field and put it where only Gustafson can make the catch. And the Wolverines have the 1st down. Keep an eye on Heckathorn. I think he could have a big day going down the middle.
Heckathorn works slot to the right side as East will throw it again. Looking down the middle for Heckathorn. Jumps up, takes the ball away inside the 20, and continuing to fight down to about the 16-yard line. You saw something you like there in that matchup.
Let's save that audio, put it on the highlight film at the end of the year. I got one right. But Heckathorn matched up, and instead of going down the middle, he went right down the hash mark, and coverage. It was a well-thrown ball, but an even better catch. Wolverines are in the red zone, and now they bring in Mason Muir as an extra fullback and Clayton Parrish in at running back.
Single receivers to each side with the junior Clayton Parrish out of West Middlesex checking in the backfield.
And this is the concerns Waynesburg with the double fullbacks.
East to throw it again for a 3rd straight time. Looking over the shoulder for Frazier. That one just a little too far out in front and incomplete. And Wolverines throwing 3 straight plays to begin today's game.
2 years ago down here, Josh East threw 9 passes all day, and Waynesburg probably thinking, "Hey, you know what? They're going to try and run." Well, Grove City comes out, pass, 2 for 3 balls.
Right side, East to throw, looking for Frazier. Back shoulder, corner of the end zone, caught it, but out of bounds. It'll bring up 4th down.
Needed about another probably 18 inches on the far sideline, and couldn't get the foot down. He did make the catch, but could not get the foot in. The official right on top of it. It's now 4th down. and 13 at the 19, and the offense will stay out there. It would be a 36-yard kick. And now after a brief delay, here comes the field goal unit.
So Nick Morrow will come on to attempt the field goal, 3 of 5 on the year, a long of 37 yards. We'll spot this ball at the 26, so make it a 36-yard field goal. Hash to the right side. Custer gets it down. Morrow's kick has the distance, and it is good. So Nick Morrow bounces back and knocks in the field goal and gives the Wolverines an early 3-0 lead.
Nick Morrow's been Mr. Clutch for much of his career. Had a tough week last week. You love seeing him bounce back, hit that kick, get the Wolverines on the board. I think every kicker in the history of football, except for Justin Tucker, has had a bad day here and there. And Nick Morrow, who's been very good throughout his career, hits that one, gets the Wolverines on the board. The Wolverines turn the turnover into points. If you're Waynesburg, you're thinking, hey, we'll take that, But by the same token, Grove City, get on the board first. It's been a good start. You get the defensive play by Caffrey, the interception, turn it into points. 3-0 Wolverines.
Eddie Bianco to kick the ball back to Waynesburg with the early 3-0 lead for Grove City at 11:22 to go in this opening quarter. Again, Yellow Jackets will put 2 returners just back deep inside their own 10-yard line. Bianco with the ball teed up at the 35. End over end kick, twisting, and it is going to roll up the sidelines and go out of bounds, and it will give Waynesburg pretty good field position on the kickoff out of bounds.
Yeah, Waynesburg will have it at the 35-yard line, and pretty good field position. Anytime a kick goes out of bounds, there's the chance of a mishandled return or pitting a team deep, you lose that. It's free yardage being given. So Waynesburg will have it at the 35-yard line. Good operating room. We'll see if they continue with their pass-oriented attack, or if they look to feature Flack a little bit more on this drive.
Rains out of the pistol. 2 receivers go to the left side. Flack the tailback in the backfield right next to him. Rains to throw it. Looking downfield, fires downfield. Receiver comes back to the football. Makes the catch for a short gain of about 3. Brings up 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, a long throw for a 3-yard gain. That was a slow-developing play, and Raines ended up throwing on the run. His shoulders were parallel to the line of scrimmage as he was run. Actually, they would have been. He was kind of parallel running there and then throwing it out. There was. It just seemed like they weren't all on the same page. That perhaps the receiver should have been a little bit further downfield. But Waynesburg does get 3 on 1st down.
So now we'll flip the receivers, go 2 to the right side. Flack, the running back, for Raines, the quarterback. Going to give it to Flack, and he's going to be stood up after a gain of about 2 down to the 40-yard line, and that Wolverine defensive front continuing to get a good push.
Bryce Spolnick, the freshman from South Fayette, who's put together a very nice freshman season. You look at him, number 91 out there. When you look at him or watch him play, you think, this guy, was he a 2-year starter? I mean, he has been he has stepped in on that defensive line and has played very good football through the first 4+ weeks of the season.
So it's 3rd down and 5 as we approach 10 minutes to play, opening quarter, 3-0 Wolverines. Waynesburg with 3rd and 5 at their 40-yard line. 2 receivers and a wing to the right side. Raines to throw it, looking that way. Goes underneath, receiver juggled the football, and it's incomplete. Could not complete the catch going to the ground. It brings up 4th down.
Could have been caught, maybe should have been caught. Would have been enough for the 1st down. Only a 2-man route combination, Mark. They had 2 receivers there. The back, Flack, stayed in for pass protection. The wingback stayed in. And it was one guy going deep, one guy going short. They went short to get the 1st down, and it's dropped, and the Wolverines will send Gabe Dunlap back to receive the punt.
Jason Mangum, the punter, averaging about 31 yards a kick. Back deep, Gabe Dunlap to return the kick. Dunlap runs up on it across the 35 to the 40. On his feet, 45, and dives down near the 49-yard line. Dunlap's had a strong year returning punts and kicks, and there's another good one there.
Certainly, you hit the nail on the head. He doesn't do a lot of dancing. He gets it. He heads upfield, finds Lasim. That's exactly what he did there, getting the ball out close to midfield. A run back, it'll be 18 yards on the return for Gabe Dunlap. And again, excellent field position. Grove City started the first drive at the 41 after the pick, and now after the 3 and out, the punt and the return gives Grove City the ball at the 48.
Two receivers going to go to the right side. That's Heckathorn and Gustafson. Fullback wing to the left side. East and Flatty in the backfield. East to throw it on first down. Has time. Going to take a deep shot. Looking for Cody Gustafson. Ball hung up in the air, and he boxed out the defender and made the catch inside the 20 and down near the 17-yard line.
Grove City came out with an extra lineman in there. Waynesburg went to the goal line defense. It was one-on-one. Monroe Moeller at 5'10", trying to cover the 6'3" Gustafson. You described it perfectly, Mark. He boxed him out, used that big frame. Big gain down to the 17-yard line, gain of 35, and the Wolverines back into the red zone.
Two receivers now go to the left side. Gustafson to the outside, Heckathorn in the slot. Flatty and East are the backs in the backfield. First and 10 from the Waynesburg 17-yard line. East to throw, looking far to the left, throwing to the left, jump ball, they'll fight forward, and it falls incomplete, back corner of the end zone. It's second down and 10.
Looked like Gustafson may have jumped a tick early for that one, and he had his hands on it. Moeller was able to get a hand in there and knock it away. Second down, with Grove City being very aggressive with the passing game, even in situations where you think they would run, and traditionally they have run. And now back to the base personnel, as Waynesburg has pretty much what you call, like in hockey terms, a line shift defensively.
Frazier and Heckathorn to the left, Cody Gustafson to the right side. Nico Flatty remains the tailback on second and 10 from the 17-yard line. East going to give it to Flatty. Has a hole up the middle and drives down to about the 11-yard line. And almost took them by surprise by running the football on second down.
Yeah, there was thinking pass. Oh, here comes the run, and Flatty pops through and gets 5. Almost, give him 6 to the 11. It's third and a long 4.
Two receivers to the left, one to the right side. That's Cody Gustafson. Fullback, Robert Tamburino, the sophomore, on a wing to the right side. Again, gives the ball to Flatty. Drives inside the 10 as a flag comes in. He'll get down to the 8-yard line. It'll be third down and 1, depending on the penalty.
I'm thinking they may get Nate Brady for a hold. The left guard coming across. Tom Zetz will tell us. And he tells me I'm wrong. It's a face mask. So it's half the distance from the other run. It will be a first down. Brady, he had such good drive. He ended up pancaking the blocker, and right as the guy was going down, the flag came in. It was kind of things thinking maybe he had a little bit of that inside hand control, if you will. Instead, it's a face mask, first and goal. Put it down at the 4.
Single receiver, Gustafson. Parrish checks into the backfield. A team leading 8 rushing touchdowns on the year through the first 4 games. Both fullbacks in there in front of East. They'll give it to Parrish. He's got a hole and dives down to about the 2-yard line. It's second and goal from the 2.
Waynesburg continuing to double-team Cody Gustafson with a corner, then a safety over the top. So they have 9 in the box. And you think Grove City with 6 linemen and then the two blockers. So that's 8. So they have 8 on 9, and Clayton Parrish has to beat one guy. Now that's a tough way to make a living defensively. Now the Wolverines do the big shift where the guys on the right go left, the guys on the left come to the right.
Second and goal from the 2-yard line. East goes under center. Sends a man in motion left to right. Gives it to Parrish. Steps inside a tackle. Drives for the goal line, and he's down to the 1. So it'll be third and goal from the 1-yard line.
Waynesburg defense stiffening up there. Thought Parrish was going to have a clear alley to the in there, but it was not to be. Looked like 63 in there. Sean Hitler, 270-pounder out of Moon, helping clog the hole. Now third and a yard. I think maybe just go quarterback sneak here, follow Brungard and Kleinfelder in. Let's see what the Wolverines do.
They will shift the fullbacks. Now shift the offensive line. Fullbacks high five for the first time this year. Saw that in the spring. He's going to give it to Parrish, and he will plow into the end zone for touchdown number 9 and an early 9-0 lead for the Wolverines.
PAC high 9th touchdown of the season for Clayton Parrish, the West Middlesex product. He sees that goal line. He knows what to do. He punches it in there. Good, tough running. Waynesburg defense was stiffened up there in that goal-to-go situation, but following the right side of the line, 9-0, and Nick Morrow looking to make it 10-0. Custer to hold.
Morrow 13 of 17 on extra points. That one is up, and that one is good. So a 10-0 lead for the Wolverines with 6:46 to play here in the first quarter as they took advantage of a turnover into a Morrow field goal, and then they cap off their first full drive on Clayton Parrish's conference-leading 9th rushing touchdown of the season so far for the early 10-0 lead. And that's one of the things, you and I kind of talked about on the way down here was kind of establishing themselves early, not only for their confidence coming off a tough loss last week, but to kind of establish that, hey, we're here to play this afternoon, and it's going to be a tough afternoon for you, even if it is home for homecoming.
Well, certainly, yeah. You want to you want to go and get Waynesburg, get some doubt in Waynesburg's head early, and that's what that's exactly what the Wolverines are done here in the first 8+ minutes. Get up 10-0. Again, if you're Waynesburg, you're thinking, hey, we're one big play from really being in this, and not that Waynesburg is out of it. Certainly, a lot of football left, as we saw last week. But again, get off to a good start. 10-0 lead.
Bianco's kick, end over end. This one right up the middle of the field, across the 20, hesitates 25 to the 30. And down to about the 31-yard line where Patrick Mark is in on the tackle with help from 24, Cole DiFilippo, the sophomore linebacker.
Cole DiFilippo has been a part-time starter this year, really good sophomore linebacker. Tells you about the depth of that linebacking core where he's not seeing as many snaps as he was earlier because of Kilgore, Fleming, Fryermuth there, and then Nick Grabiak, who's that hybrid linebacker safety. But Cole DiFilippo, good football player.
Rains and the Yellow Jackets have it first and 10, 6:37 to play here in the opening quarter. A 10-0 lead for the Wolverines. Single receivers go to each side. Flack is the tailback. He's going to get it, try to bounce it to the outside across the 35, lowers his shoulder and pulled down right near the 40-yard line. That first real solid run we've seen from him so far this afternoon.
Flack getting outside for the first time today. The first couple of runs have been between the tackles. Again, we talked about him being a complete back. He can run in between the tackles, but him going outside is certainly not foreign, and he gets a nice 8-yard gain.
Second down and 2. They will put two receivers out to the right side with Dunlap and Fleck in the backfield. Play clock now down under 10 seconds on second down and 2 for the Yellow Jackets. Rains gives the ball to Flack as he'll hit the pile and push forward right to the line of scrimmage, and depending on the spot, and we'll have a first down for the Yellow Jackets.
Not a whole lot of room there as James Perenni had things clogged up in the middle from his nose tackle spot. Parker Kilgore finished him off, but Flack able to squirm forward and get 2 for the first down, and Waynesburg will get a new set of downs. And for Waynesburg's second first down of the afternoon.
First and 10 from their 42-yard line. Single receivers each side, wings to each side. Rains takes the snap, gives the ball to Flack once again, and Flack able to drive to the 45-yard line. He'll pick up 2 on a first down. And they've really, the run game is they've shown you a little bit of everything, left, right, and center.
Yeah, we've had a quarterback keep, or the bootleg. So they've thrown a lot at the Wolverines, and Waynesburg is, I think, content with this. Allow the defense to regroup a little bit and get 3, 4, 5 yards. Have a steady drive. And from a Grove City standpoint, you're okay with that because your thought is if Waynesburg has to have a 10, 11, 12 play drive, something bad is going to happen at some point.
Back to throw, fires downfield, and the pass incomplete. The flag came in late on Dunlap, who went over the receiver when he tried to bat the football away and made some late contact.
Side judge and back judge will talk about it. Parker Kilgore's trying to explain that he went over without touching him. The back judge made the call. The side judge, who was the nearest official, did not. But it will be pass interference. Hard to argue that there wasn't some contact there. And speaking of bad things, that was a bad thing that happened to the Wolverines. But to illustrate the point, if Grove City can make Waynesburg have to go 11, 12 plays, at some point there will be a negative play, be it a no gain, lost yardage, a penalty of some point, or a penalty of some sort along the course of the drive. But it's a new set of downs, first and 10 at the Grove City 40.
Receivers to each side. Rains the quarterback. He'll turn, check with the sidelines. Get the play coming in. Play clock now down under 10 seconds. Quarter clock at 4:36 to play in this opening quarter. Fleck going to get it, trying to bounce to the outside. He gets to the 40, tried to twist forward, got across the 40, maybe half a yard on the play. It's second down and long.
They'll actually put it down on the 40 for no gain. Bryce Spolnick from the backside, but even if Spolnick's not there, there were a couple of other white jerseys there. Curtis Fryermuth there to cut him down. So it is no gain, bringing up 2nd and 10 for Waynesburg as we approach the 4-minute mark in this first quarter. The Wolverines up 10.
Second down and 10 from the Grove City 40. Rains to throw. Got a fire downfield. Receiver makes the catch at the 35 and twists down to the 34-yard line. That's Trenton Kearns, the senior wide receiver out of Falling Waters, West Virginia, making his 18th reception of the year.
So far, the passing game for Waynesburg, it's been a very mobile pocket or having Rains on the move, either rollouts or sprint outs, and 5 yards there. They've not taken really any shots deep yet. The deepest throw was the one that ended up being picked off by Caffrey on the near side. It was about 15 yards downfield, but it was a long throw from the right hash to the left numbers.
Two receivers in the wing now go to the left. Third down and 5 for the Yellow Jackets. Wolverines showing some pressure. Rains to throw. Steps into a throw. Completes the ball across the 30 and down near the 26-yard line. That's Matt Craig, the senior, with his 11th catch of the year.
Able to sit down underneath, just curled to the inside, and Rains hit him right between the 8 and the 0, and Waynesburg converts on third down. It will be first down at the 26.
Under 3 minutes to play, opening quarter. Grove City 10, Waynesburg 0. Yellow Jackets on the move at the Grove City 26-yard line. Two receivers right. Rains takes the snap. He'll roll to the right, look to throw. Flag on the play as he fires to the back corner of the end zone into double coverage and incomplete. That'll bring up second down, and we'll check on the penalty.
It's thrown by the referee towards the right side of the offensive formation, and it's going to be personal foul for a chop block. And what happened is the tight end, Ellerick, was blocking the defender. I think it was R.J. Debo blocking high. Justin Flack came down low. You can't do that when the defensive lineman is engaged up high. You can't go low. That's a safety thing. So it's 15 yards. That's a big penalty. And now, instead of being, closing in on field goal range, at least for Waynesburg, backed up to the 41, facing 1st and 25. And that was a pretty easy one for referee Tom Zetz. It happened. They were a little bit away from the pile, not right in the all the humanity in there. And flag sets Waynesburg back 15 yards.
1st and 25 from the 41. Trips now go to the right side. I'll give it to Flack running to the left, and he'll get across the 40 down to the 38-yard line. And you mentioned it, if you force a team into a long drive, some difficult things are going to happen to them, like that penalty there.
Yeah, and now they get the short gain on second down. They try the draw, don't get much. Second down and 23. It's a lot easier to play defense when the offense is facing second down and 22, 23 yards.
Trips to the right side. Rains going to throw it. Swings it out. Receiver makes a catch across the 40 at the 38-yard line. Gets across the 30 and dives down near the 26-yard line. Right back near the original line of scrimmage.
And the wide receiver screen to Craig. Had two blockers out there and was able to get upfield before Mark could bring him down. And it's going to be 3rd and 11, but Waynesburg getting back the penalty yardage. And I wonder here if this is a two-down situation, depending on what Waynesburg, if they're, I think they're probably on the outer edge of Keegan Robbie's field goal range here.
So 3rd down and 11. Trips to the left in a tight bunch, almost diamond formation. And now Waynesburg looks like they will need a timeout. So Waynesburg will take the timeout with 1:16 to go here in the first quarter. And a big 3rd down and a decision coming up here for what they want to do. As you mentioned, is it 2-down territory where you try and get half of it here and pick it up on 4th down?
Yeah, I think I guess the ultimate answer we'll know is what they do with the 3rd down play call. Is it something like a draw or a screen? That's what I'm thinking. They may go draw here. Try at least get if Flack pops one, great. If nothing else, you're thinking if you're Waynesburg, he's probably going to get at least a few yards. He'll get 3 or 4, and then you're maybe 4th and 7, and perhaps the field goal becomes an option. But 3rd and 11, Grove City. See what the Wolverines do. They have Ethan Ward checking in at defensive end here, replacing Spolnick for this 3rd down. Ward kind of not necessarily as a pass rush specialist per se. Like 2 years ago on the 3rd and long, Ryan Fleming was coming in. Ward rotating here on this play, more for his pass rushing ability. I think it's not accurate necessarily to call him a specialist because we've seen him in 1st and 2nd down too. But curious what both teams will do here.
Raines has 3 receivers to the left, and one of the receivers got a head start. That's going to be a false start and back them up 5 yards. That was Trenton Kearns, the senior receiver, who as soon as he flinched, he knew he had committed the penalty.
And what was interesting about that is the lineman and the quarterback and everybody else was looking over at the sides, took a half step forward and sort of tried to twist and I didn't mean to do that. And he did mean to do that, and now 5 yards moves it back to the 32. We'll see if that changes the Waynesburg play call. The way they were set up before with the bunch to the left, they may have been setting up another receiver screen. But instead, 3rd and 16.
3rd and 16, all 3 receivers go to the left. Raines, 3-step drop. Time. Now he'll step up, roll to the right side, look downfield, throw downfield, and the ball knocked away and incomplete. Patrick Mark on the coverage. Jarred that pass loose and brings up 4th down.
Patrick Mark timed that very, very well. He broke on it, got there just as the ball did. Hit the ball, man, right after that, about a split second after it. Perfect timing by Patrick Mark, who's made so many big plays in the secondary. Of course, we talk about the interceptions and the big hits, but a play like that would have been a 1st down, Mark. Instead, it's now 4th and 16, and Waynesburg, in that no man's land, too far for the field goal. It would be 49 or 50 yards. You're not going to punt from here, and 4th and 16 is not a fun spot for an offense.
Raines with trips to the right side. Will look that way to throw. Now feeling some pressure. Rolls back to the right side. Has a receiver downfield and fires to the end zone. Did he hold on to the football?
He did, but he's out of bounds.
So it is incomplete and a turnover on downs.
Boy, Romantino came open behind the defense. He's maintaining he is in. The Waynesburg sideline said he was in. And when he was making the catch, he was hit. His legs went up in the air, and you wonder if maybe his right elbow or his shoulder landed on the white. They're looking up. They have the replay board down there. And Chris Smithley, the Waynesburg coach down there, is not happy. But the Wolverines, did they catch a break? I'm not sure. All I know is that they didn't say Romantino caught it. So the Wolverines will take over on downs to 32. It was very close down there.
Easton, the Wolverines will take over. Going to give the ball to the tailback, Nico Flatty. Broke a tackle across the 35 and dives down to the 37-yard line. Nice run by the freshman on 1st down.
Nico Flatty, just a solid run. He's like Flack, does everything well. He has some speed, the quickness, vision. He's tough. He can run between the tackles, can go outside, and he's putting together a very, very strong rookie season. Certainly one of the candidates, along with Romantino on the Waynesburg side for PAC Newcomer of the Year.
East to throw. Come back route to Cody Gustafson, who is pulled out of bounds. But that'll be good enough for a Wolverine 1st down. It'll move the change.
Of course, Cody Gustafson was the PAC Newcomer of the Year back in 2017. So he was the last Wolverine to win it. Flatty, certainly he's throwing his hat in the ring for that award. And, of course, a lot of football left, but some pretty talented guys in the senior class and the freshman class, as well as the 2 classes in between.
And we have come to the end of the first quarter here this afternoon. After 1, it is Grove City 10, Waynesburg 0. You're listening to Grove City College football on the Wolverine Sports Network.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
As we begin quarter number 2, Wolverines now right to left to begin the quarter. Will have it 1st and 10 at their own 43-yard line. One receiver to the right, 2 to the left. East digs out the low snap. He'll look to throw, looking for Frazier downfield, and that ball drifted too far out in front of his intended target and incomplete.
Taking a deep shot for Frazier, trying to stretch that defense out, and incomplete, but 2nd and 10 through the first 15 minutes in this one. Grove City outgaining Waynesburg by 99-63. Grove City a 5-4 edge in first downs. Of course, most importantly, 10-0 on the scoreboard.
2nd down and 10 from the 43-yard line.
Waynesburg now with a five-man defensive front and a linebacker up. It's like a 6-2-3.
East to throw against that defense with time. Takes the shot for Gustafson. Ball hung up for him. He made the catch at the 10-5. Touchdown, Wolverines. Got behind the defender. East laid it in perfectly. It's a big early lead for Grove City here on the road.
East had his choice of receivers. He had Heckathorn on the deep crossing route. He had beat his man. It was man coverage back there. Gustafson on the post pattern, getting behind Mahalik. Laid it in there, did East. Touchdown, 57 yards out. 16-0 Wolverines on the long bomb to Cody Gustafson. East, his 53rd career touchdown. He became the career leader at Grove City in touchdown passes last week.
Snap up. Morrow's extra point is good. It's a 17-0 lead for the Wolverines here in this opening quarter, or the opening half, as they've been able to take advantage of a couple of deep throws to Cody Gustafson, setting them up for a couple of early scores and establishing themselves offensively early here in the first half.
Yeah, it's been run, and then Grove City went to the heavy package offensively, had the extra offensive lineman in there, and with that, Waynesburg countered by having 5 linemen in there with their hand on the ground, and a linebacker walked up as a 6th man, so essentially a 6-man front. They had 2 linebackers. They had a guy in the slot who then came in. So essentially, that left 2 guys, one to cover Gustafson, one to cover Heckathorn. They were both open. East said, you know what? Cody's deeper. I can hit him in stride. He did. Touchdown. And, again, he had his choice there, and he went for the I think either way he'd had a touchdown. But Cody was closer to the goal line when he caught it, and East put it on there. 53rd career touchdown. Of course, breaking the record last week. He had been tied at 49 with Andrew DiDonato. We've heard of him. And Josh now 53 and putting some more distance between him and...
So Bianco will come on to kick the ball away. This kick going to go over the head of both returners into the end zone for the touchback. Nice kick by Bianco.
Yeah, Eddie Bianco, very strong leg, and able to just put a foot into that one, boom it in there. And I think after you had the one that went out of bounds, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to try and kick it through the uprights. And he didn't quite get it there, but he boomed it and downfield and putting Waynesburg back at the 25-yard line. 14:42 to go. And now for the Grove City defense, look to get a 3 and out. Waynesburg, the mentality should be for Waynesburg, you're not going to get 17 points back at once. Get 1 first down at a time. If you're Grove City, try and deliver the knockout blow here.
Raines has Flack with him in the backfield. Flack will get it on first down and then be able to break through a couple of tackles and get down to the 29-yard line. He'll pick up 4. It's 2nd down and 6.
Kilgore and Fleming combined on the tackle. Grove City has its reserve defensive line in there. Ethan Ward, Scott Hastings are the ends, and then Kobe Bonanno, the freshman from Red Bank Valley, in at nose tackle. But really good depth up front. Grove City can go 6 deep with those guys. Not a lot of drop-off. The front 3, Debo, Spolnick, and Perenni, a very good trio, but these three guys can get it done too.
They'll hand the ball off. Fleming almost timed the snap count perfectly, and he was in the backfield to make the tackle and bring up 3rd down and 6.
You said it right. He timed it perfectly. And what Grove City's doing defensively with their front, the front three are almost about a full yard off the ball. If you've ever watched like a Canadian football game, they have to be 1 yard off. That's what it looks like. But Fleming, so when he's kind of timing things, he's almost on the line of scrimmage. It looks like, is he offsides? No, he's fine, but just that illusion and really good defensive schematics. That defensive line, Dan Pesta, the defensive line coach, doing a great job with these guys, and then a guy like Ryan Fleming creating havoc.
Range to throw it on 3rd down. Steps up in the pocket, eyes downfield, try to avoid the rush, and he's going to be hit at the line of scrimmage and thrown down. A couple of Wolverines there defensively to make the stop, led by Nick Grabiak.
Grabiak up near the line of scrimmage, which we don't see too often. The Wolverines came with a blitz that time, 6 rushers, and caught Waynesburg off guard. Grabiak, who we see him a lot in pass coverage, able to get in there and bring him down. I believe it will be a sack, loss of 2. So first sack of the day, and the punt team out for Waynesburg.
They will punt the football away. Trusky and Dunlap back to return for the Wolverines. Looping snap, gets the kick away, high and over and a kick. Dunlap signaled for the fair catch, but this ball will roll inside the 35 and down to about the 33-yard line. So got a little turf roll, but there is a flag on the field on the far sidelines.
You wonder if maybe getting tangled up over there, blocking the gunner coming downfield. That punt, as it left his foot, just from our standpoint here in the press box, our viewpoint, it looks strange. I'm sure for Dunlap having it come in, it wasn't a knuckleball, but it had like a knuckleball effect to it. And then it hit and took a roll about 10, 12 yards down the field. And then we'll see what the penalty is. Right now the ball would be at the 33, but will Grove City be starting back inside the 25 or closer to midfield?
They're talking with the Waynesburg coaching staff. And we'll get the call from our referee, Tom Zetz.
Now he's coming over to explain it to Andrew DiDonato. So I have a hunch this is going to be filed under the